Hi, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Attack on Titan. This is Season 3, Episode 10. They fucking did it. They defeated Lord Ice in Titan form, and it was Historia who dealt the killing blow in the end. With, of course, a lot of help from the rest of the scouts and some good planning and some explosions. And yeah, I really like the way that they handled that. The way it ended, or I should say, the way that whole thing ended with the Rise Titan. But then we got another scene in the end with Kenny and him sort of dying and Levi coming up to him. And at the very last shot, we saw that Kenny has a syringe with what we assume is, what's going to maybe turn him into a Titan so that he can survive. Is Levi gonna let him do that? It's a lot of question marks as per usual. And I think we are just ready to jump into it. Unless you have anything.
No.
No? Alright. Let's do it. And you can, of course, always check out our full-length reactions, where you can sync up the footage with your own copy of the episode. We also have early reactions for Attack on Titan at the moment, where we are several episodes ahead compared to here on YouTube. It's all over on Patreon, and the link is down in the description below. And here we go. What are we?
Oh, Coronation Day?
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about that. What's with the pillars underground?
That's the...
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. The cavern.
Yeah.
I thought this was closer to the city. Ah, okay, so this is before. Yeah, got it. Sorry for the confusion. Friends. Oh.
この世に俺より強いやつがいるなんて思いもしなかった。あれが巨人ってやつか。
So that's Yuri, Lord Ice's brother.
Seems like it.
察するに彼はアッカーマン家の末裔ではなかろうか。私に刃を向ける理由は彼自身にある。許してくれよ。
今思えば一族の恨みなんて大して感じてなかったのかもしれない。
As we assumed, there's way more to Kenny's story.
こいつの記憶は消せない。殺すほかないのだ。我々がアッカーマン一族にもたらした迫害の歴史を考えれば君の恨みはもっともだ。だが私は今死ぬわけにはいかないんだ。どうか許してくれ。
あれほどの力を持った王が下船を相手に神戸を垂れやがる。俺はその場で力になりたいと伝え、ウーリはうなずいた。
Okay.
情けねえ格好だったが、こうしてアッカーマン家への迫害は終わった。
クシェル。ああ、オランピアのことならだいぶ前に病気をもらっちまってからフリモンになってやせん。
Well, she's dead. And there's Levi.
名前は
リヴァイ。ただのリヴァイ。
俺はケニー、ただのケニーだ。クシェルとは知り合いだった。こいつを見殺しにできるほど人を捨ててねえが、親に飼われるほどできた人間じゃねえ。俺が教えられることは多くねえが、まずはナイフの握り方、それとご近所付き合い、挨拶の仕方。
Get along with people.
中央憲兵悪いな。友達いっぱい殺しちまって。
そんなお前をも王は服従させ仕えさせたのだ。
サネさんよ、ずいぶん心酔されなさってるようだな。
なぜ王の元に下った？
That was the guy who was tortured, right?
Yeah. Early on.
多分奴が一番強いからだ。この世で一番偉いのは、この世で一番強い奴のことを示す。少なくとも妹みてえな最後を迎えることはねえだろうからな。
Hmm.
この力はロードの子たちに引き継がれる。私はその子らの記憶の中で生き続けるだろ
それはどういうことだ？力が引き継がれるだって？
That's when you found out about it. The fact that the power can be passed
う。こ
on.
の世界はそう遠くない未来、必ず滅ぶ。そのわずかな人類の黄昏に、私は楽園を築き上げたいのだ。滅ぼし合うほかなかった我々を友人にしたものは一体何だ？暴力か？
知らねえよ。ただお前にバカでかい腕でつまみ上げられなければ、俺はお前の頭にクソを詰め込んでただろうな。
それでも私はあの時の奇跡を信じている。
奴とは最後まで同じ気分にはなれなかったが、奴の言う通りバケモンは受け継がれたらしい。ロッドの娘も人々の愛がどうしたとか平和がどうのこうのとか似たようなことをほざいている。その力を手にしさえすれば誰でも同じなのか。例えば俺でも。この新設された対人立体機動部隊の隊長を務めることになった。兵団にいたこともねえ殺人鬼がお前らのボスだって言われてもよろしくねえだろうよ。
構いません。壁が破壊されて2年。巨人の相手は諦めて人間と残された領土をめぐり争い合う。構いませんよ。全ては無意味です。
調査兵団の対抗組織なんて大義名分。俺が考えた建前に過ぎねえ。議会のクソどもをうなずかせるクソ用の方便だ。
Oh?
何のためかって？神にも等しい力だ。それを手にした奴はみんな慈悲深くなっちまうらしい。俺のようなクズにも本当にお前と対等な景色を見ることができるのか。
ケニー。
The Ackermans. So intriguing.
ロッドのカバンから一つくすねとい
Okay,
たや
that's how he got it.
つ。どうもこいつを撃って巨人になるらしいな。アホな巨人にはなっちまうが。
Yeah.
それを撃つ時間も体力も今よりかあったはずだ。なぜやらなかった？
Yeah, why haven't you done it?
ちゃんと注射撃たねえとあいつみてえな出来損ないに。
もっとマシな言い訳はなかったのか？
俺は死にたくねえし力が欲しかった。今なら奴のやったことわかる気がする。
はあ？
俺が見てきた奴らみんなそうだった。酒だったり女だったり神様だったりもする。一族、王様、夢、子供、力、みんな何かの奴隷だった。あいつでさえも。
That's very insightful.
初代王はなぜ人類の存続を望まない？
知らねえよ。だが俺らアッカーマンが対立した理由はそれだ。
俺のせいもアッカーマンらしいな。
Yep.
あんた本当は母さんのなんだ？
ただの兄貴だ。
俺から去っていった。
人の親にはなれねえよ。
国。
Wow. There we go. Coronation.
あの少女が壁の倍もある巨人を倒したって。
ああ、多くのオルブノク住民が目撃してたんだ。
Hey!
私が巨人にとどめを刺したことにしてください。そうすればこの壁の求心力となって情勢は固まるはずです。
まさか本当に仕留めてしまうとは。
Yeah.
待てよ、
Doing what?
殴った後でこう言ってやればいい。殴り返してみろって。どうだ、私は女王様だぞ。文句があれば。
Levi's
お前
laughing.
らありがとうな。
Whew. Wow. That's... Wait, what? What the hell? When is this?
I think it's a flashback.
Must be, right?
勝ったぜ。
No, what?
兄ちゃん助けるのは後な。座標のダッシュを優先。当然だろ。
ここで待ってりゃあっちから来るんだし。
Oh, you're right. Okay. Wait, what? I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
The fuck kind of an ending is that?
I hate it. I hate
After
it.
everything that happened in that episode, and us just trying to stay laser focused, not to miss anything, and really, okay, so much from the past, and everything with Kenny and Levi, and the Historia, like being crowned the new queen in the end. Like, wow, yeah, that seemed like a lot in and of itself in an episode, and then they just throw that in there, which was, it was a flashback, right? It must have been. Yeah, it
But
is.
he
It
did
was
say something about saving Annie.
or
Saving Annie can come later.
yeah, okay, so maybe it's not actually a flashback, and it was happening, or maybe it was a flash forward, and us just seeing that Rainer and Berthold, they were going to save Annie. Something happened and they sort of failed, and Rainer got knocked out, and then boom, there's the monkey with this guy stepping out of it and just telling them that no, you have to focus on this coordinate thing. We can save Annie later on. Yeah.
It must be a flash forward because they know who the coordinate is or what the coordinate is. Like,
Yeah, and if they attacked again while all of this other shit was going on, I'm sure we would have heard of it. Like that news would have reached everyone else at least like before the coronation, or
yeah, so I think it's a flash forward, yeah.
yeah, that's our theory so far. Of course, don't tell us anything, confirm or deny, but it's also one of those cases where I'm sure we're supposed to be kind of confused because they just threw it in there, and we haven't seen Rainer and Berthold for this entire season yet. Not since the ending of the second season.
And we haven't seen the monkey for a very long time either, so...
Exactly, that was not, since the ending of season 2 as well, where he also stepped out of it and was just kind of like looking at the camera and going like...
Not yet.
Not yet, or... Yeah. So there's still a lot of mystery there, like, surrounding that character and what they're doing. But I'm glad that that's part of the story is coming back. And it's, well, good timing, I guess. We just wrapped up like something really, really big. Or it's not completely wrapped up, but at least for now, we have a new queen and the fake royals are gone, and Rodreis has been defeated. But anyway, that was episode 10. It was a lot, really, getting into it from the beginning, and I had no sense of time or anything going through this episode. There was no point where I was like, oh yeah, now we're like, seems like we're halfway, or like, it was just so focused on everything that was going on, and we got so much from Kenny's past, stuff that we've already talked about a little bit, and some of the stuff that we sort of just surmised from some of these quick flashes and flashbacks and whatnot. But it is, as they showed us, at least regarding how it all happened with Levi and how he started to, like, with his sister, and he sort of rescued Levi, but he didn't want to be a father to him, so he just taught him how to at least survive there in the underground, and was very much centered on violence to survive. and to move on.
But that's how Kenny grew up, and that's also what we learned from especially the conversation when Yuri he grabbed him.
Yeah.
Then he talked about all of this, like, well, he comes from a place of violence and he just wanted power, and well, that's how you do it, right? When you come from like the underground, that's the way that you survive, is by being the strongest person around. So that's how he taught Levi, so he could survive, because that's how he knew how to survive.
Exactly. And as soon as he saw that, okay, he's strong enough to survive on his own, then he left him. Yeah, exactly. And I do really like what he then said as he was dying, with all these things, be it the violence or the dreams, your family, whatever it is that keeps you going as a person, keeps you moving forward. I just,
we're all kind of dependent on it.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. And he was as well, and he wanted that power, just like to, from what he said, to see if he can become as compassionate as whoever was wielding that power, if he can actually, or if he can just see things from their point of view. He just wanted to know what that was like, what that power was like, and what it meant to be that. And I find that, very interesting with what he wanted to do. And I don't know if he ultimately wanted to use that power to like change anything for people like him, but he had his ulterior motives there. And as he also told this newly formed squad, anti-personnel squad, that we're not, we're just nodding along and doing what the royal family, what the royals are telling us, but we have our own thing, sort of. And that entire squad was also made up out of people who just wanted to do something, it feels like. And it was like 2 years after the attack on the walls, and felt powerless. So like we got a lot of story there that gives great context to the character of Kenny and the people who was around him, his squad. But they also, all of them, died. So it's like very much a full circle moment for that entire thing there.
Yeah, and especially also, it's really full circle, because we also saw how Reis, he was killed off in the last one. So the last of the Reis, like the old Reis, is gone, and with that was also Kenny and his squad, who was also kind of like a part of that, because he then we also saw how he became the new dog, the new Reis's
right
dog.
hand man, or
yes, just I think
doing their bidding.
He did say something about, like, then he was the dog now.
Okay.
And the person that told on what Reis, I think, was then gone from the council.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then he was like switched in.
Exactly. Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they have like all of the old people, they have just been like weeded out now.
Yes.
So we're ready for a new reign.
Everyone who was in power, they're sort of gone now. Everyone who was in some sort of powerful position, except for, of course, the ones who's on the side of Erwin and the others, and the coup that happened. Now they're all in power with Historia as the queen. And it's also interesting to know that with the Ackermans, that at some point, because they started out as being very loyal to the royals and doing their bidding and being their right hand family, the ones helping them out. But then something happened where they started to distance themselves, and they didn't trust, like, they found out what the Reis family was actually doing, and then they broke off from them, and then they started being persecuted, the Ackermans, because they have this in their bloodline, this thing that makes it so that they can't just be manipulated in the same way that everyone else can be with the memory wipes and so on. So they prosecuted them. But whatever happened back then, persecuted, not prosecuted. They persecuted them. Whatever happened back then that made the Ackermans distance themselves from the royals, that's unknown. We don't know that. And that I think that's also something that Kenny wanted to find out too. And he thought for a long while that if I can get this power in some way, if I can figure out how they do this, how they pass this power along, and I can get it instead, then I can gain all of that knowledge. And of course, then when he found out that that's not possible at all, it was just like, fuck it all, chaos, here we go. But it is really intriguing, like whatever happened back then, and that is certainly something that we're going to learn.
Yeah, and I'm also a little bit interested because we know in the screen, one of the information screens, it said something along the lines of that the Ackermans, they were basically superhumans, or like they were. Yeah,
they had this awakening inside of them.
Yeah.
Where they can do things that are almost superhuman, or at least something that normal humans can't do. And they've talked about it before, and Levi asked Mikasa about it, like, have you experienced this awakening just like Kenny and I did?
Yeah.
So and why is yeah,
but if let's just say because with his dying breath, Kenny gave along the syringe with the Titan stuff in it.
Yeah.
To Levi. What would happen to Levi if he got an injection?
Yes.
And I cannot help but think that maybe they get special powers too. Like the Reis family got special powers. And that's why they're also resistant towards the mind fucking, because sorry. So maybe there's also along the lines of that, like if you actually that since they're superhumans, maybe they are also have like super Titan abilities or something. And it's
what's the origin there? Why and how did the Ackermans become special? And then what would happen if they inject themselves with the Titan serum? What would have happened if Kenny actually did it and he chose not to because there was just, it seems like, too many uncertainties. He didn't want to risk, turning into something like what Lord Reis turned into. He didn't necessarily just want to turn into a normal stupid Titan if that was the case, and it was just uncertainties, and he didn't want to die either, and it was just I actually feel quite sorry for his character in the end, and for even though his life was just one endless stream of violence in the search of power. It was just he had dreams, and there was like a very sad element about that character in the end, I think.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of like people in his situation. I think it is kind of sad that.
Oh, definitely.
Not that I necessarily. I don't know how sorry I feel about them, but I definitely I do have a compassionate or some sort of like sympathy or whatever feeling about them. But yeah, he was just, some people are just dealt a very bad hand from birth and with a life, and it's an unfortunate situation, but I also feel like in the end he actually accepted his fate, and that's also why he was like,
he gave it to Levi instead. And like, I've told you what I know, sort of, and I've told you how I perceive things. You know me. Here's the syringe. Do with it what you will. And I don't know what that means, or if Levi's ever gonna find himself in a position where he's going to use it. Like, since it's there, it's part of the story. Like, it's gonna come into play at some point, for sure. And I am really curious when it comes to like what's gonna happen if an Ackerman becomes a Titan.
Yeah.
What is that going to look like?
But he also said during when Levi was like, "Tell me everything." He also talked about how he was opposed to the Reis family, and that's what happened, right?
What?
Han spurgte ham, tell me everything, og så siger han, hvorfor har Reis ikke gjort noget? Så siger han, the hell do I know?
Ja, det fandt jeg aldrig ud af.
Men det var derfor, jeg distancerede mig, eller du ved, at jeg, altså... Men
ja, han sagde, at jeg ved det ikke, men lige meget hvad det var det, der fik de Ackermans til at distancere dem selv dengang.
Well, he did pass along the information that the Ackermans distance themselves from the king.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
And the Reis family because of something they believed in, or at least whatever happened.
Yeah, whatever they found out about the Ackermans, it made them distance themselves from the Reis family.
So that's also why, even though in the last one we did see some of the flashes from Reis's life, or that he passed on his memories to Historia. And I just, but I still feel like there's definitely a side to the story that we don't know, but they still just feel like the bad guys, man.
Definitely, but there's more to it, because we then spent time with, or we see someone like Yuri, who we've only really heard about, and someone that Kenny actually kind of revered as a person. He was very intrigued by him. And there was this, there's something about both Yuri and Frida and whoever, possessed this ultimate Titan power, and where they had the memories of the past and they can do all these things. Like, there's something about them that was just like, I really want to hear how they perceive the world and why they're doing what they're doing. And Yuri talked about the possibility of like creating a paradise for humanity, but why haven't you done it yet? Or is this the paradise, and what does it look like, and why do you still keep on doing the things with the Titans and the manipulation, and why keep it up like that? Why not do anything about it? And now we're back to what Historia asked her father, like, for 100 years, why didn't you do anything? And it's just, there's so much more to that. There must be a very precise explanation somewhere that's gonna make us go like, oh, now we get it. We might not agree with whatever explanation it is then at the time, but at least just something to give us a better understanding of why they did what they did. Yes. But now, just back to the present. Historia, Queen, people, they're on her side. They saw her defeat her father at the Over district. And yeah, that was just nice to see, just a moment of celebration and happiness, and just seeing Levi's squad there, and the people, like, when we had that scene there in the hallway, them sort of smiling and just having this little thing with Historia where it's like, oh, you're the queen now. Like, if you do something to Levi, he can't do anything back. Like, and they've just been so afraid of him for so long. And when she finally did it, they were still sort of afraid of what he was going to do. And then he just started laughing and saying thank you. And that was a sweet moment. But it was nice to get.
That ties into what he just talked about with, or I don't know how much in advance that was, but when he talked with Kenny just before, and he said all about like these things that drives us, or drives our survival, like these things that we are slaves to. And I think for Levi, all the way through, and that's also why this episode is called Friends, and that's why he was so, like, he just laughed at it, and he said thank you.
Because you're the ones who are keeping me going.
Exactly. Yeah. This is why I keep going, and these are actually his friends, even though, and I know I've been very hard on him in the past. Yeah, but he has like this very hard exterior, but we also know that he has like a huge heart within, and it's just because he's been scarred over and over and over.
He's been through so much. And we saw some of it in this one as well, growing up like that. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of his past. We saw the OVA, right? We also had the whole Petra thing from that arc as well with the female Titan.
Yeah.
And we had, like, we saw in his OVA, we also saw that he had two very close friends back when he was a bit younger and in the underground thing.
Yeah.
And he's just like he lost so many people, and I think at some point when you lose that many people close to you, either by like people just like diffuse out of your life, or if you literally lose them
if they're killed or whatever it is,
something makes your heart close off.
Mm-hmm.
And these people have been around for a little while, so he's starting to open his heart to them. And this is
accepting them into his life and accepting that these are the people that's gonna keep me going. My friends, I would even call it family at this point. So it's quite beautiful. And then we had the real ending of the episode, which we already talked about at the beginning, because it was just like, what the fuck?
But we got some things confirmed with that, I think.
Huh?
Because I was a little bit confused about the Beast Titan, but we definitely know the guy with the glasses is the Beast inside the monkey.
Oh yeah. You had question because when we saw the end of season 2 and he was standing there, and we were talking about is that the person inside of the Beast Titan, or is it someone else who's just standing?
Yeah, and now I saw it. I definitely saw it.
Yeah.
And he's been leading Rainer and Bertolt, and this must be in the future or like at the same time
somewhere else, and we just haven't heard about it, and we're gonna get into it in the beginning of the next episode, and like
but we definitely know that it's at this point or forward because of the things we talked about, like saving Annie, and that they knew about the coordinate and everything. So this must be happening. Yeah,
that's our guess for right now, at least. Can't wait to continue to get more into it.
But who is this guy, and why is this Titan a monkey?
Yes, what's so special about him?
Did he eat a monkey?
Did you eat a monkey? Come on.
Did you eat a Titan monkey?
Yeah. What the hell, man? And what is their what's their ultimate goal?
Yeah.
This faction. Because now we've gotten so much more just from this season alone with the first 10 episodes here about the past and the Reiss family, and we've sort of already gotten it resolved a little bit, or it's we talked about all of it. And now back to this. Tell us how those, how's that related? How does that link up? And we're getting to it. It's an amazing series, an amazing story, and I trust it fully to give us the information when we get it. When it's relevant.
I also heard about this season, part 1 of season 3, that it was in the manga. It's a lot more slow paced. And I can definitely see some of the things here, they would probably I'm not saying it's rushed, because I feel the pacing is fine, but there's a lot of characterization, and I definitely feel like this whole thing with Kenny might have been a whole lot longer. There's a lot of things where I feel like, okay, this part of the series that has a lot of potential deep character depth,
they could dive into it further, and we would get some more explanations, but then they would risk the whole slowing it down too much perhaps for people watching.
So it feel like it's kind of ramping up and accelerating a bit, so
again yes I really I agree with that. And it is also so far what we've gotten inside of this season, and if you hold it up to next to the first season and the second season, it is the most confusing stuff we've gotten so far, and or at least the most intricate, and where we've really had to focus up and be okay, what the hell, and trying to figure out and connect the dots.
And if you think about it, a lot has happened in this episode, or this part of in just 10 episodes, a lot of stuff has happened.
A lot has happened. So I it seems the manga, if it makes a lot of sense if that was a longer part of longer stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's gonna do it.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've talked about everything as much as we can bare at the moment. But yeah, can't wait to continue. Yeah, we are done. We're done. So that's gonna do it for this reaction and review of Attack on Titan Season 3 Episode 10. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we'll see you as soon as possible. Bye.
Bye.